Inside the most unforgiving steel structure in professional wrestling history, two men who have been brothers, rivals, enemies, and everything in between stood side by side, fists raised, eyes forward, united, and the entire WWE universe completely lost its mind. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, together again, inside the Elimination Chamber, in 2026. This is the moment we did not dare hope for, and WWE just gave it to us anyway. What is up, Suplex Rumble Nation? I am your host, and I am going to tell you something that I mean with every fiber of my being. I have been covering professional wrestling on this channel through some extraordinary moments. Moments that made me jump out of my chair. Moments that made me grab my phone and call people who do not even watch wrestling just to describe what I had witnessed. The Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns reunion at WWE Elimination Chamber 2026 made me do all of those things simultaneously. Because this was not just a moment. This was the culmination of a relationship that has been one of the most complex, most emotionally layered, most historically rich partnerships in the modern era of professional wrestling, and to see it resolve even temporarily, even in the specific chaotic circumstances of the Elimination Chamber, into a unified front was something that hit differently than anything this year has yet produced. Subscribe if you are new, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment telling me on a scale of 1 to 10 how emotionally this reunion hit you. Let's go into every extraordinary layer of this story right now. Before we get to the reunion itself, before we unpack every emotional and strategic layer of what Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns sharing that moment means, we need to establish the specific environment in which this reunion occurred. Because the Elimination Chamber is not a neutral backdrop, it is a character in its own right. And the specific nature of what the chamber does to the people inside it is essential to understanding why this reunion happened when it did and how it did. The Elimination Chamber 2026 was already positioned as one of the most consequential premium live events of the entire year before a single pod door opened. The card assembled around it carried championship implications, WrestleMania trajectory stakes, and personal storyline payoffs that had been building across weeks of Raw programming. The chamber structure itself, the 6 pods, the steel chain walls, the unforgiving floor surface, the suffocating enclosed environment that strips away every comfort professional wrestlers normally operate with, creates a specific psychological and physical crucible. You cannot maintain pretense inside the chamber. You cannot sustain performance when every ounce of your physical capability is being demanded by the structure and the opponents within it. The chamber reveals truth. It has always revealed truth. The truth about physical limits. The truth about mental fortitude. The truth about who a performer is when everything external has been stripped away and only the most fundamental version of themselves remains. And in 2026, the truth that the Elimination Chamber revealed about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns was the truth that their entire complicated history had been building toward. They are better together than apart. They always have been. And inside the most honest environment in professional wrestling, the truth could not be denied any longer. To fully appreciate the reunion, we need to understand where both men were individually before it happened. Because a reunion only carries emotional weight proportional to the significance of the separation it resolves. And the separation between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins has been one of the most significant in modern WWE storytelling. Roman Reigns in 2026 is operating in a specific chapter of his career that may be its most interesting yet, which is a remarkable statement given how consistently extraordinary his career has been. The tribal chief persona, the cold, calculating, demanding head of his family, has evolved across the years into something more nuanced than its origins. The absolute authority has acquired edges of vulnerability. The unquestioned dominance has been questioned. And the specific challenge of maintaining a position at the summit of WWE against the generational forces that are rising around him, Obafemi, the restructured championship landscape, the ongoing consequences of bloodline politics, has produced a Roman Reigns who is operating with a different kind of urgency than the comfortable certainty of his peak dominance period. Roman Reigns in 2026 needs something. Not in the way that weakness needs something, but in the way that a genuinely great strategic mind recognizes an opportunity and moves toward it with complete intentionality. What he needs, what he recognized inside the Elimination Chamber, is the specific kind of partnership that only one person in the entire WWE roster can provide. Seth Rollins in 2026 has been navigating the specific, complicated aftermath of his mystery attacker exposure, the storyline revelation that stripped the visionary of his carefully constructed protective layer of calculated perception management and forced him to operate in the unforgiving clarity of full public knowledge. That exposure changed Seth Rollins. Or more precisely, it revealed a version of Seth Rollins that the WWE Universe had not seen in a very long time. A version that exists beneath the character architecture, beneath the showmanship and the strategic manipulation and the theatrical self-presentation that makes Seth Rollins one of the most compelling personalities in professional wrestling. The exposed Seth Rollins, the one who had to stand in that ring with his planning revealed, his methods known, his motivations subject to public interpretation, is a character in transition. Moving from one identity to another with the specific uncertainty of someone who built their entire self-presentation on the management of information and now must figure out who they are when information cannot be managed. Transitions in professional wrestling, when handled with genuine creative intelligence, produce the most compelling character work available. A Seth Rollins who is uncertain, who is recalculating, reassessing, and searching for a new foundation, is a Seth Rollins more interesting than any specific character position he has previously occupied. And the foundation he found, inside the Elimination Chamber in 2026, was the one he started with: Roman Reigns, his brother, his original partner. Let's reconstruct the reunion moment itself, because the how of this story is everything. And the Elimination Chamber provided circumstances for this reunion that no other setting in professional wrestling could have engineered with the same authenticity. The chamber match had been unfolding with the brutal, relentless intensity that this structure always produces. Multiple pod releases, multiple eliminations. The physical toll escalating with every passing minute as the competitors absorbed damage that would hospitalize most human beings, and kept going because that is what the chamber demands, and that is what these performers give. At the specific moment the reunion crystallized, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were the two survivors. Whatever the circumstances that brought them to that point, whatever eliminations had occurred, whatever physical battles had been fought before this moment, these two men were standing in the chamber, looking at each other across the steel floor, with everything between them available to be resolved. The history was in the air. It is always in the air when these two men share a wrestling environment. Every betrayal, every alliance, every championship shared or contested, every moment of genuine brotherhood and every moment of devastating separation, all of it present simultaneously in the specific charge between them. What happened next was not choreographed in the way that planned moments are choreographed. It had the quality, the specific, irreplaceable quality of something responding to the circumstances rather than directing them. Of two performers who have known each other across a decade of professional wrestling at the highest level, responding to a moment with the instincts that only genuine shared history produces. One of them extended a hand. The other looked at it. And the arena held its breath in the specific, collective, please let this be real way that only the most emotionally loaded wrestling moments produce. The hand was taken. And when Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins stood side by side inside the Elimination Chamber, united for the first time in what felt like forever, the crowd's reaction was not simply loud. It was cathartic. The release of accumulated tension from a fanbase that had watched these two extraordinary performers navigate the complicated aftermath of their history and had desperately, privately, sometimes hopelessly hoped for exactly this moment. The Rollins and Reigns reunion inside the Elimination Chamber cannot be discussed without addressing the dimension that gives it its deepest possible resonance: the Shield. Every time Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins stand united, every time the fist bump that originated in that legendary faction is raised or invoked or referenced, the third member of that brotherhood is present in the space between them. Dean Ambrose, the lunatic fringe, recently returned from his own extraordinary journey outside WWE walls. The reunion of Rollins and Reigns at Elimination Chamber happened against the backdrop of Dean Ambrose's return and his mystery box emergence, which means the question that every Shield fan has been asking since the moment Ambrose crawled back into the WWE universe is now more urgent and more tantalizing than ever. Is this the Shield being rebuilt? Is the Chamber reunion the second piece of a three-piece puzzle whose final completion is the most anticipated faction moment perfect?